It was crazy because the Granny Rhino was just this last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Only saw about 50 to 100 of them.
Man, low.
Yeah. Did see a shovel-nosed guitarfish though.
Did you take a picture?
I was trying to, but I was fumbling with my phone because it hopped out of the water to get the grunions, and so it was like beached for a second, and then in the next wave took it back out.
Wow, that would have been a cool video
I
though.
know. I would have seen everything that day. I would have seen a horn shark egg, a grunion, and a shovel-nosed guitarfish. Three things we've already covered.
How did you find the horn shark egg?
It was just washed up on the beach. Jarrett found it on the sand. We were
Wow.
just walking by and boom. You want to start it with the what's up, or you want me to start with the what's up?
What's up?
Okay. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Biophilia. Today, Haley sent so sometimes she does this. We have each our own individual Instagram accounts and then our joint Biophilia podcast account on Instagram, which you guys don't follow. You guys should go check it out. But she'll send DMs to that account from her own personal account about like content ideas and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
maybe things I'm thinking about,
Yeah.
things I'm like wondering more, or if I want to put something on the story of the Instagram or something. I'm always sending stuff to her.
Exactly. And so I was just checking the joint Instagram, and she sent something, and I was like, oh, this would be a great podcast episode. And that is what I believe she is talking about today.
Yeah, my most recent send was actually fake.
Yeah, well,
so that's hilarious.
It wasn't fake, but it was delayed.
It was super delayed news.
Yeah.
But it's still cool.
It is really cool. Well, I guess it's not cool. It's interesting.
It's interesting, yeah. So today I'm talking about the white rhino, specifically the northern white rhino. So what initially piqued my interest in this was I saw a article on Instagram, or like a trustworthy source.
I can, you know how I know it was trustworthy? It's like one of those, everybody knows it's on Instagram. It's like one of those things where it's like the picture, then it's like the picture with like a black screen behind it, and then it's got like the multicolored font below it that reads like some bullshit fact.
It was so
it was one of those.
But I just wanted to look more into it. And when I did, I realized that was so what the post was saying was that the last male white northern rhino had died. Anyways, it is true to some extent because the last male white rhino did die, but in like 2018.
Yeah, it wasn't recently.
So it wasn't recently. So these two females, there's two remaining females.
Do they have names?
They do. I'll get into that. There's two remaining, but yeah, they have no alive males to reproduce. Anyways, so let's get started.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, northern white rhino. I feel like this is a big thing for a little bit. Do you remember hearing about like, oh, there's one left, like when we were younger?
I almost feel like when I was at Disney World, they had like some really endangered rhinos there when I was a kid.
Really?
I don't remember if they were white rhinos or what kind of rhinos they were, but I remember in Disney World they had really endangered rhinos when I was a kid.
They're some of the most rare animals on Earth, obviously, because there's only two left now. But we're gonna get into like biology, behavior, extinction, all the conservation that's going on, and then what's coming for the northern white rhino.
Colossal? Are they playing a part in
Question
it?
mark?
Are they playing a part in it?
No. But I mean, same effective idea, like it's the end result. But so taxonomy and evolution. So we'll start with the scientific name. The scientific name is Ceratotherium simum-cottoni.
That was a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. But it's from the family Rhinoceridae. And there's 5 extant species right now. And it's so also something to note. There's 2 types of white rhinos. There's a southern and a northern. And we're talking about the northern white rhinos, but they're 2 subspecies.
Mm-hmm.
So white rhino as a whole,
this is a species.
Is one species. There's southern, northern white rhinos, and the northern white rhinos are the ones that are super dwindled, and now there's no males.
Uh-huh.
So what happened was they actually split from the southern white rhino about 1 million years ago during a period of habitat fragmentation across Central and Southern Africa.
Mm-hmm.
So then their DNA kind of diverged, and that's how they became this long-term.
Do you know what kind of fragmentation occurred?
It didn't say, but I assume like a land barrier or something.
Yeah, land or water barrier, something along those lines.
So kind of the differences before we kind of narrow down into the northern white rhino specifically is northern white rhinos tend to have a slightly shorter limbs and a flatter back, And the northern white rhinos live in Central and East Africa, like Sudan, while the southern whites lived in Southern Africa, South Africa, Namibia, that area.
Uh-huh.
And so the southern white rhino is actually not doing the worst. It's definitely not doing good, but they have 15 to 16,000
Oh,
alive
wow.
individuals right now. And actually, something interesting is the contrast of different governments and how regionally it was positioned. That's the only reason that the southern white rhino actually persisted for like was because of government
Better
intervention
conservation experts.
conservation
Okay.
laws and stuff and earlier intervention into the conservation of these animals. Now they're at 16,000 and the other northern white rhinos are
Pretty
at
much
2.
gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of an interesting contrast to see the exact same species but two different
Political outlooks on it.
and just ways that humans can help. Like it does help all these laws and regulations and like people caring and being knowledgeable about it does matter. And the northern white rhino also it was saying the political region was super unstable and that was a big turning point.
Like civil warfare and stuff like that. So they didn't have time to worry about animals.
Exactly. So not to rag on them too much.
Did you explain what their scientific name meant or anything, or you just skip past that?
Ceratotherium simum. So it derives from Greek roots, and cerato means horn, and thorium means wild beast.
Hmm. So horned wild beasts.
Horned wild beast. And then simum means flat nosed.
Flat nosed, horned wild beast.
Pretty representative.
Yeah. And that's what
Don't
they
you
look
think
like.
that's yeah, like that's their face. That's
Yeah.
true. Okay. So anatomy. How much do you think these weigh?
Are we talking pounds or tons?
Pounds.
Upwards of 3,000 pounds?
You are spot on. 3,500 to 5,300.
53. Wow, I was on the low end.
They're huge.
They're tanks.
And so, just for everybody at home, this is like how much a SUV weighs, pretty much, or 3 adult polar bears stacked together.
Wow.
I read that online. That's kind of a funny measure.
Yeah, wait. So, how do you know how like tall they are and like other
Yes,
dimensions?
they are about 5.2 feet tall, 5 feet 2 inches.
So they're short kings.
I mean, but thousands of pounds is not. I mean,
They're meatballs.
they're meatballs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but they're a short king.
yes, I guess so. Yeah, I guess I did kind of expect them to be a little bit bigger, kind of like an elephant build.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I guess short but gnarly.
But thick.
Thick and definitely beefy and stuck to the ground.
Yeah.
Um,
They probably got like a 2-inch bird.
this is something interesting. They have a square shaped mouth.
Square?
Yeah, like the way that their mouth is built is for specifically grass, because that's their only food source. Can you imagine that huge thing?
They gotta consume so much grass.
But that's the same thing with like the whale.
Did you look into see how much they have to eat a day to?
I'll get into that.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was really interested in that part. I
Yes.
just couldn't fathom how a rhino this big can sustain off of just grass. And
Do they eat different kinds of grass, or is it just like a single kind of grass they eat?
it's whatever grass in their area.
Okay.
But it is so crazy to me that such a big animal can survive off of just grass.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me at
So
all.
let me tell you what I found out. So rhinos are what is called a hindgut fermenter, like horses and elephants. And they have an enlarged cecum and colon, which are part of the large intestine, where bacteria break down and tough plant fibers get processed.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so this process releases nutrients and energy, though it's a less efficient than rumination, like in cows. So that you need to eat a lot to get the right amount of like, vitamins to continue on. So they have to have a huge intake. A white rhino can eat up to 120 pounds of grass a day.
That is
Pounds.
That's like a Haley
Literally.
of grass.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
They graze for half the day or more. So that's their main thing.
That's their 9 to 5 is
That's
just
their
eating.
9 to 5. Like a cow, essentially. It's
Yeah.
just a crazy looking cow.
It's just a beefed up cow, yeah.
Yeah. Their bulk is maintained by volume and consistency of feeding. Like they just have to eat so much. And also they have a low energy lifestyle. So they're not trying to like
burn stuff.
Expel energy really. They won't run unless they have to. They won't bite you unless they have to.
They bite?
Fight.
Oh,
each other.
I was like, they're gonna bite me?
No, they actually don't even have really teeth. They just have molars like Brian.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh, they also have two horns. Did you know that?
Yeah.
They have front horn, and that one's up to 1.5 meters, so like 60 inches.
1.5 meters. That's like what? Almost 4 feet, 5 feet. Yeah. 60 inches. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And then the rear horn is shorter, but it's around like 20 inches.
And that's right. It's like rear, but it's still on their face.
It's like on their, yeah, frontal.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Exactly. So what this is used for is like defense against predators, especially like in defense of their young. And it combat with other males, intimidation, communication.
They're like a fingernail, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the keratin. Because I know people, obviously that's probably why their population is so low is because of all the poaching, where the people poach it for the purpose of like carving into it and selling it and stuff like that, right?
Yeah. Do you know what poaching means?
Like the actual word.
Yeah.
I guess I've never thought about it. I've just always thought as poaching as just like stealing something.
I think that's pretty true. But it's specifically wildlife related.
Oh, okay.
So animal related where you're not supposed to be taking stuff.
Hmm.
But and it often is killing the animal for
The
fact
purpose,
of
yeah.
getting whatever you want.
And it's usually like the smallest thing on the animal.
Why it's so high in demand is because it's used in traditional Chinese medicine to help treat fever, gout, and cancer. So people believe if you have this, that you will essentially be saved from these.
Do they like eat it, or do they smoke it, or? Because I always hear about these traditional Eastern medicines, and some of them are very true. Like some of them have been later proven with, you know, chemical compound breakdown, but then some of them are just also just complete blasphemy, which I feel like this one kind of falls into that category where a rhino horn somehow is going to treat you or cure you of something like cancer, where cancer is so multidimensional and just not curable by a single potion.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of positives to all these traditional medicines like this and Ayurveda. I listen to a lot, but not when it's messing with my rhino.
Yeah, fair.
So, anyways, but they do. So apparently they grind it up really fine, and then they boil it with water and drink it as a tea.
Interesting.
Which I think is a common thing for this type of medicine is herbal tea.
Yeah.
Type of remedies. But anyways, it's also a status symbol in Vietnam and China and an aphrodisiac.
I feel like yes, I feel like every single thing also has that weird aphrodisiac effect. I think they just get freaky out there.
I think they just want an excuse to act crazy.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, this is it.
This is it. This aphrodisiac.
Yeah, I'm sure
this is gonna get me going.
Yeah, exactly. But
I mean, you were just eating an aphrodisiac.
Huh?
You were just eating an aphrodisiac.
What, a pluot?
Chocolate.
Oh yeah, I know. Just eat some chocolate. Stop killing the rhinos, guys.
For real.
It's okay. Okay. So let's go into the whole poaching situation.
Okay.
So basically, they powder it, and also it's a gift for people.
Like a high level gift.
Yeah.
Like a status gift or something.
Status gift,
yeah.
Exactly. So it's like a luxury health, and that's kind of how.
I wonder if it's a tax write off.
Yeah, that's how it has this value. Right now, it's valued in the black market up to $60,000 per kilogram, and that's more relatively than gold or like cocaine.
Yeah, I mean, 60 a kilogram is insane amount.
Yep. Well, I mean, how are you going to get it?
You probably get a couple kilograms from one rhino horn.
They're huge.
So that makes sense why they poach because 60,000 and in a not well off country and somewhere in northern Africa, that's your livelihood. And those people aren't thinking about animals; they're thinking about how they can keep their families alive. That's always the dual
catch-22,
the double-sided sword on it.
So yeah, it's mainly a thing in Vietnam and China, and a small amount is also traded in Yemen, I guess, for like dagger handles because it's a historical type of material. I mean,
that could be some drip, but it's not worth it.
Not worth it. But rhino horn trade has been banned actually since 1977, so it's been illegal for a hot minute.
But it still happens in high population, I'm guessing, right?
It what?
Like it still happens at a high amount.
Well, not for these ones anymore.
Well, but there's tons of other rhino.
Well, yeah, but they have literally armed guards standing in front of these
These
rhinos.
two, yeah, these two rhinos, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, and the third one before it
Yeah.
passed. But yeah, they have armed guards whose whole job is to
Protect the rhino.
protect the rhinos, which would be a sick job.
It's good that they've put some laws in place.
Yeah, so in South Africa, you can so legal domestic rhino horn trade briefly reopened in 2017.
Really?
But they overturned it.
South Africa's got some interesting rules down there.
I know. And then in Vietnam and China, they banned the trade completely and it's illegal. But black markets are definitely still a thing. And they get these things because of corrupt national park.
Really?
Essentially, is a big source. I have a story. Basically, these people will leave their shoes outside of national park territory so that they can't be traced and go kill rhinos. And that's how this one guy got away with it forever because he was barefoot.
Yeah, you know what I'm thinking about? I wonder if because you're talking about the corruption in the parks. I wonder if when like a rhino dies from natural causes, if somebody goes around, takes the horn, and flips it. I would hope not too, but you know that's because it's like the same thing with the cops. Like I bet you some of the cops when they seize all those drugs don't go to waste. They're gonna use them or flip them for something else. So I wonder if it's similar within the national park force or national park services.
Do you know that rhino horns regenerate?
No, but it makes sense because if it's keratin, it's like a fingernail.
Exactly. But wouldn't it be more beneficial for everybody involved if these people would just let the rhinos live and then they could trim the pieces off the horn and it would grow back?
Yeah, but that shouldn't even be a thought. It should just be like, don't touch him.
Yeah, but so actually a lot of captive rhinos do get their horns trimmed actually right above the growth plate where it doesn't hurt them at all and just to avoid them being killed by poachers like the scientists will cut it off
Oh,
preemptively because the poachers will go kill the whole rhino
yeah,
just for that one piece whereas if they just take the whole thing away there's no tempting.
yeah. There's no temptation. That I mean, yes, that
And
makes.
if it doesn't hurt the animal and it stops them from getting killed, I kind of see the perspective, but it is a shitty situation.
Then it still makes me think, what are those scientists doing with that up?
With that whole
Yeah, like what are they doing with it?
and they grow back at a rate of about 2 to 7 centimeters per year,
Oh,
just
so
depending on the individual. But
it's like coral,
is that the rate?
somewhere along that line.
Yeah. So if a vet is taking off the horn, they'll put the rhino under anesthesia and they cut above the growth plate, like I was saying, and it doesn't under damage the underlying tissue. And it's typically done every 1 to 3 years for these rhinos in captivity.
That's interesting.
To be so it regrows just enough to not be worth poaching.
Yeah, I wonder how much anesthesia they would have to give these
Oh
beasts.
my gosh, probably a lot.
Yeah, so much ketamine.
Have you heard about rhino ears?
Yeah, they got tiny little ears on their big old head.
They're actually really important.
Their ears?
Their ears. They have horrible vision. So they use their ears to interact with the world. They have independent rotation, and each ear can swivel 180 degrees independently like a satellite.
That's pretty cool. I've seen them do that where they go.
Yeah, and they're always flicking them because they're receiving a lot of information through their ears, and this allows them to understand where different things are coming from in nature without having to see them.
Mm-hmm.
And because they kind of have that cup shape and they move, they can really pinpoint where noises are.
That makes sense.
And it's really essential in the open savannas where danger and like poachers can come from pretty much any direction.
Anytime.
Open.
Yeah.
You know, there's not much hiding. They can detect low frequency sounds and infrasound, which are vibrations below human hearing range.
So, what would be something that is in that realm?
Things like earthquakes and volcanoes, or elephants, even in whales, they have noises that they can produce that are in this infrasound sector
Okay.
category. But it's basically just whatever we can't hear. So there's aspects of all those things that are part of infrasound.
That makes sense.
This helps rhinos see threats, and they distinguish calls from different individuals based on tone and pattern with these super ears. So communication between rhinos is actually really interesting. How would you think that they generally communicate?
Do they make noises?
They do, but it's not like the main, but they like growl, bellow, squeak, snort.
Maybe they like stomp.
That's a good guess. No.
It's gotta be some sort of sense. I don't know.
Okay, they actually communicate mostly through shitting.
They're shitting. Like the scent?
Yeah. But so this is the whole thing. So their territory is marked by dung piles or dung middens.
No way, they're called middens also.
Yes,
What the heck?
I know. Middens are large communal dung piles used regularly by white rhinos, sometimes reaching up to 65 feet across. Isn't that crazy?
That's wow.
Yeah. Found strategically near territorial boundaries like water holes or paths to their like resting area or something like that. But it's really important socially actually for them because it's where they pretty much read who's who's around and what's happening in the city.
So each person's got their own scent.
Well, yeah, everybody has different like composition or whatever, I guess, and
They have
it
like
helps
their own
tell.
poop scent.
Yeah,
It's bizarre.
probably humans do too. We're just like not that
Yeah.
deep into it.
Yeah, true. We don't got the noses for that.
But
We got good noses.
they have amazing noses, and that's why this works for them because dung carries chemical cues that indicate sex, age, health, fertility, territorial status. It's crazy, and it acts as a bulletin board for rhinos.
That is pretty bizarre.
Yeah. So it territorially it's important because dominant males typically will poop in the center of it and then they'll like kick their poop around to make it spread the scent better. And then the subordinates and females tend to do poop around the edges of the main poop and allow others to detect their presence but know that they're not the main. So the main big guy in the middle.
Doing the big pooping.
In the middle, yeah. It also shows that from camera trap studies, they figured out that males go do this more than females. They'll do it at a specific midden to show that they're there and they're like the most fit and whatever.
That is not at all how I expected rhinos to communicate. But I guess it makes sense because if they're eating a lot of grass, they're probably pooping quite a bit.
I'd imagine so. Also, something additionally beneficial for them is middens attract dung beetles, which breaks down and frees area of poop faster, pretty much. And it's really important because you don't need to see very well to know what's in the area and what you're coming across, and also it can float with the wind. And
You can definitely smell it before you see it.
exactly. Do you know anything about their skin or anything?
I know they could use some cocoa butter.
Oh my gosh, they're so ashy
They're
looking.
so ashy.
I know.
Is that why they're called the white rhinos?
Yeah,
Ashy.
more or less, because they just look ashy.
Yeah.
But they actually have really thick skin. I'm sure you can assume. But it's actually not hard, but there's a lot of folds for temperature regulation.
There's a lot of fold surface area, so it can expel a lot of heat.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. So the blood vessels are up against the skin.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It's actually about 5 centimeters, about 2 inches thick.
The
The skin.
Wow. That
Depending
is
on the
thick.
body area, but it feels like dried, cracked leather, apparently, with rough folds and creases. Covered in tiny hairs, especially in young rhinos. And they are often caked in mud or dust for sun protection and like parasite protection
Mm-hmm.
and bugs and stuff.
Close up the pores, keep them kind of protected.
Mm-hmm. Their skin is built kind of like their armor because they don't really have protective anything except for their horns. So they have this really thick skin for thorny vegetation and all that stuff and bites it. And yeah, like I was saying, it's for thermal regulation, so the skin folds and cracks increase the surface area, helping to trap moisture and mud also, which cools and protects them.
Don't they have like a partnership with certain animals that like eat stuff off them?
Not that I was reading about.
Because I know some species out there in the savannah, they have like birds that sit on their back and kind of like eat the parasites and bugs off them.
Yeah, I've heard that too. Okay, so the social structure is kind of interesting. So it's semi-social females and calves will form a small group, but often males are just by themselves, except for reproducing.
I feel like that's kind of common sometimes where the males are pretty solitary and then the females kind of herd together and
Mm-hmm.
take care of the babies together.
They gestate for 16 months.
16?
Over a year, they're carrying a baby.
Is that one of the longer ones of any animal?
I think so. It's got to be. It's so long.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
And that's why it's hard to rebound their population once it's already at a certain point. Because 16 months is
yeah. And then that thing has to reach sexual maturity. That's a real slow cycle.
So, in the calving interval is 2 to 4 years. So it's a long time. They reach sexual maturity at 6 to 7 years old for females and 10 to 12 for males.
Wow, so even longer. They got to wait almost 11 years from the point of two things mating for it to be able to mate again.
Yep.
So what are they doing nowadays with the two females?
So there's a few people working on this white rhino research right now. One of the main people in this realm is Dr. Thomas Hittelbrandt, and he works for the Institution of Leibniz Institute for Zoo and Wildlife Research in Germany. And he's the lead scientist. He's working on IVF efforts to save the northern white rhino. What's it? In vitro fertilization.
Yes, in vitro fertilization.
So, going back to your earlier question, the two names are Fatu and Najin are the two female rhinos left. And so they developed procedures to help fertilize them. And they're working with the Biorescue Project in the primary team.
So are they going to try and like how would they even do that? They would have to create some sort of artificial sperm, right?
No, they took sperm from the last.
Oh, they still have it.
They still have it.
Oh, so we're not cooked.
No, we could bring it. We could do something.
Because they just got to fertilize an egg, implant that, hope that goes through, and then the gene pool is going to be so small.
Let me tell you about the last male.
Okay.
So the last male, his name was Sudan. And he was born in 1973 in Shambe, South Sudan, captured as a calf and transferred to a crazy name zoo I can't even pronounce in Czechoslovakia in 1975. So when he was only 2 years old. And then later, he moved to a conservancy in Kenya in 2009, along with 3 other northern white rhinos, in a last-ditch effort to encourage natural breeding in a native environment. He died when he was 45 years old in 2018, and he was euthanized due to age-related complications and infection in his leg. And his death marked the moment when natural reproduction for northern white rhinos became impossible. But that doesn't mean it's impossible to have another white rhino. But before his death, sperm samples were collected and preserved, and these samples are now being used to fertilize eggs from the remaining females via IVF. Yeah. Sudan is still contributing to conservation, so that's amazing.
And there's no updates about if they've had some sort of successful fertilization or anything like that?
No, I think they're still working on the IVF treatment and also getting all of the funding. I know it's hard. I actually was reading that. Did you hear about Sudan and Tinder? They had like a collab.
What?
He had a Tinder profile this last.
Oh, I thought you meant the country.
No.
I know. I forgot. His name is also Sudan. They had a collab? Why?
Did you hear about this?
No.
So basically, he had a Tinder profile and it said something like, I don't mean to be forward, but the fate of my species literally depends on it, or something like that. And it was a campaign to raise funding for northern white rhino research that like Tinder and them collabed on, I guess. And Tinder used it so you can match with this northern white rhino and like any other profile. And when you swiped right, it would take you to a donation page.
That's cool. I like that.
So that supported the Biorescue IVF program that they're working towards right now. And it actually raised over $9 million. Oh,
wow.
For the egg harvesting, fertilization program, implementation into the southern white rhino surrogate.
That's super cool.
So that was a really good program.
Is there like a website or something that people can look into to donate to this cause?
There's the International Rhino Foundation, which is where I got a lot of information from, and I know that they're taking donations. Okay. But I don't know exactly for the northern white rhino specifically. But I'm sure if you just Google that, you can find that. Yeah, I think that's all I have. Do you have any questions? Oh, did I tell you they can run 35 miles an hour?
No, but I did know they could run quite fast.
That's pretty fast.
Yeah. It's a heavy beast running pretty fast.
Yeah. It's a big thing to come at you at 35 miles an hour. Yeah. But they don't usually do that.
I mean, that makes sense. I was going to say, I don't think they do 35.
Big energetic tactic.
Unless they're provoked.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Make sure to drop a 5-star. Check out the Instagram or YouTube if you guys listen to that on that. Shout out Cole. And we'll see you guys in the next one.
Thanks.